Okay. So your question was about not being able to find a job up to 1 year after graduation, which, by the way, my first W-2 job was over a year after graduation. But what I want to say is this article is Gen Z is the most rejected generation in history. The ghosted generation. From college to dating, no one in history has been rejected more than Gen Z. And I wanted to talk about this. I read this whole article. It's pretty fucking long, and I want to kind of summarize it for you and also get your thoughts. In that, I think it's very true. And obviously, we've talked about some of the aspects of it, but it's laid out pretty starkly here, which is basically that in three main areas. The first one is dating. The second one is college, and the third one is applying for jobs. The number of opportunities is perhaps greater, but the number of rejections is also exponentially greater. And so that if you're an average Gen Z person, you are experiencing such an astronomical number of rejections in these formative years of your life, and that can be psychologically difficult or damaging. It's happening like significantly more than ever, and I think it affects people in ways they don't even understand. Why higher now than before? So for dating, the first example is like the rise of dating apps and algorithms and all things like that mean that it's just an unrelenting parade of rejection. You know, there's just more swipes that aren't going to work out, more dates that end up with ghosting, more situationships or just talking that never turn into an actual date. Or I mean, they have an example here of like a typical Zoomer on the apps is getting rejected by and rejecting more prospective partners in a week than the typical married boomer has in their entire life. And I think that's true. There is some upside to it, right? Which you have more opportunity, more chances to find a person that, I don't know, matches your specific thing, interest, personality type. But it also like leads to an inability to commit. It leads to feeling of wanting to protect yourself because rejection hurts. One of the psychological things that's talked throughout this whole article, they interview a lot of people. And this is long. This is a long fucking, this goes on and on and on. One thing they talk about a lot is the feeling of like checking out. Checking out maybe is the wrong word. It's like the idea of you don't let yourself get too attached to anything. So in terms of like, you don't want to get too excited about applying for a job or a college or a date because you have to protect yourself from the idea that it can go wrong. You have to really keep your hope from ever getting up. You have to kind of disassociate or, I don't know, check out. If it were one of these three things, maybe that would be one aspect. Because it's happening in all three aspects at a formative time, over and over again, you hear in this article is people talking about how it affects them mentally. And some of them, there's a psychologist in here I wish I could find, but the psychologist is like, some of them say they're getting really good at dealing with rejection, like they don't fucking care, like they're toughened up by it. But really it just seems like they're checking out or disassociating. Their idea of not caring and being strong is just like having no hope or passion about it. It's like more cope than it. Yeah, it's like being real pessimistic. That's not really, the psychologist in here is like, that's not really a solution. That's like a painful adjustment. You haven't solved the problem. You've reduced the short-term pain, but you haven't solved it. And so I just, I'm not trying to like bring anyone down here. I'm not trying to like, darken the mood. If anything, I think this could be an interesting, more positive discussion to hear that this is not something that only you is going through. It is fascinating. And I want to say in response to your original question, Amadeus, that I think it was just easier. I mean, I think, it's not, no one has it easy as fucking boomers, legitimately, where it's like walk in and, hand them a resume and you get a job and walk out. I took a year and a half. I was fucking struggling. But like just the scale of the rejections now is crazy. The idea of like people putting in hundreds, 300, 400, 800, some people in this article are 1,000+ job applications. And it's just like, you have to deal with hundreds of letdowns, It's like, it's fucking exhausting. It's just exhausting. Human beings are not like super built for that. And then, the way they do it, again, we can talk about all three parts of this, but the job part is like, yeah, look. You don't have any ability to get feedback. It feels like being in a hedge maze and there's probably a path through. And I agree, there probably is a path through. I mean, some people are finding ways through, but it's harder. And you feel like you keep running into walls and you're like, man, if I could just talk to the person who built this. I worked so hard for 4 years and I built this great network and support system. Now I'm just sending applications into the void. Yeah, this idea of like empty one-way communication where you're just fucking throwing out applications and you have no feedback, no human to talk to. It's been so frustrating. We're questioning all our life choices and it's just depressing. Yeah, I just would say you're not alone, and I don't think it's something about you're doing wrong. not that there's like different strategies you can apply. I'm sure there are to like increase your chances, but it's like, I don't think this generation's any different. They're suddenly worse at applying for jobs or like less ambitious or whatever. I think it's just difficult. It's just more difficult. And then dealing with parents and other people who can't understand. Yeah, again, that's one thing why I think this is like a good thing to talk about is maybe Zoomers all generally understand this, but I think a lot of other generations, they don't understand. They don't understand how different it is. Even 10 years ago, it's different. Not even 30 years, massively different, but even 10 years ago, dramatically different. It's changing so fast. I think this for everything. I think it's for almost every field. But post-COVID is different in almost everything. There's just no analog. There's no comparison. Post-COVID is so different in all these aspects of life that if you haven't already got certain things set up or settled, you can't get advice very easily because no one's gone through that same unique thing. Animation director here, having fresh students visit us and asking for jobs while I see my friends getting fired left and right is rough. You want to reassure them and tell them it's going to be okay. You also want to help your inner circle first. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many layoffs, and especially the good white collar jobs, that the market is flooded with people that have experience. So if you're a new grad without experience, I won't say never, but in a long time, it hasn't been this tough to compete. It's just fucking hard. There's fewer opportunities and there's more competition. Job market so bad, I started following my dreams. Well, it's one like unique sign that, we could be entering into something like a recession or something, or at least a recessionary job environment, is that the number of law school applications and graduate school applications has skyrocketed. It's up 20%. Georgetown University Law Center received 14,000 applications to fill 650 spots. 14,000 applications for 650 spots. University of Michigan Law School has more applications than any point in its 166 years of existence. When Michigan Law's admissions dean, Sarah, shared the numbers with faculty members, the whole room gasped. So it's a sign of like people are just not finding opportunities in the job market, so they're going back to school. But then the school opportunities are like being overwhelmed with applications. So it's just fucking tough is my takeaway, is that it's challenging. Getting internships for me was so easy when interest rates were low. When they raised it and I graduated, I had to send intern apps to get a real job. Yeah, again, there's just a time. The people I talk to the most about this in real life are coders. Because, from my time at Twitch and in NVIDIA, but mostly Twitch because NVIDIA people don't leave. I'm like the only person to ever quit NVIDIA. I'll be honest with you. I know like 0 people that have quit NVIDIA because they just lock in. But the Twitch people have quit. They're just telling me how they have more experience than ever and the job market is harder than ever. I've been interviewing for the past 3 months, and the interviews where I've made the most progress have been referrals. Building a network is so much more important these days, especially as people lose social skills over time. So yeah, I mean, the overall point of this discussion is to say like, you're not really doing anything wrong. Things have measurably gotten harder. But I think one of the strategies is referrals already. I mean, even when I was applying for jobs, referrals were like the way in, but now it's like astronomically more important. Anyone who can refer you or get you a connection or get a foot in the door, it's not bad of you to ask. Do it in a measured way, try not to be fucking cringe or whatever, but like to stand up for yourself and ask for that opportunity, because that is how you get your foot in and then show what you can do. Don't like let yourself talk yourself out of asking. And again, I'll say, this is my one example. So I met my boss at Twitch. I was doing writing for Team Liquid at the League of Legends World Finals, and I was in the press room, and I met this guy and we made a small connection, and he kind of like offhandedly gave me his email, and I sent him kind of a cover letter / pitch / my history talking about, trying to get an opportunity at Twitch, and he ghosted me. He did not answer. He did not send a response. And I thought about shrinking into a ball and not sending another message. And then I wrote another message and I sent it again, like, I don't know, 4 days later. I just did it again. I didn't want to spam, but I did it again. I was just like, hey, I really think we had a good discussion at the thing, and I would want to make sure you, and I just caught him at a better time, and he responds, and I remember this pretty clearly. He was like, it was really offhanded. Like he clearly like just had some time, and the email popped in, and he was like, yeah, let's talk or whatever. And then he had a short call. He gave me a short call, or like fill this thing out and let me know or whatever. And I did this, and I just kind of kept following up on it and hounding on it. And I'm not saying that'll work every time, and it was definitely easier then. But I'm just saying, like, if you let your anxiety talk you out of, you don't really have anything to lose. The worst that can happen is like this person thinking you're too overzealous, and that's not a bad thing to be when you're trying to get a job. So I guess I would just say, I would keep that in mind. I'm a software dev, 25 years old with 5-ish years of professional experience. I've been able to get interviews via jobs on LinkedIn. Dude, isn't LinkedIn like the fucking hell of applying nowadays? Isn't LinkedIn Easy Apply literally ruining all concepts of applying for jobs? Isn't people just submitting tens of thousands every person and it's completely AI slop ruined? I just don't think that, I think it's completely fucked over the idea of that working because there's not enough humans involved in the process. Anyway, I'm sorry, you were saying interview processes are typically 4 or 5 hour long interviews and a 2 to 5 hour coding assignment. I've been through 3+ processed at 3 different companies in the past month, all end up getting denied. Referrals haven't gone anywhere because few people can be hiring. That seems like a huge fucking pain in the ass, dude. 4 5 hour long interview. Have you considered like during the interview stealing something from the company? Like being like, oh, can I go to the bathroom real quick? And then just fucking like yoinking a PC or a tablet or it's digital? Oh, fuck. It's 4 to 5 hours digital? Kill me, dude. Have you considered like putting on a nice suit and printing out a clean copy of your resume and then going down to the local factory and and showing it, and then they'll give you a fucking job immediately? Because I heard that would work. 6 figures out of high school, yeah, with a car and a pension. I wonder if that'd be an interesting video for me to do. Like for me to try applying for jobs or go through some interview processes. But I would be kind of fucking, like, I feel like I might be taking a slot or something. I think people will get pissy about it. Could be fire content, but I wonder if people get mad about it. And also, you know, like, I don't know the good outcome. Like, all right, so what if it just happens to work out well for me? Well, then what's the video? It's easy? People are gonna fucking hate that. It's an interesting idea. I wish I could have, this was a different time, but it wasn't that long ago. But obviously still a different time. This is definitely post-COVID, but because when I first moved to LA after I quit NVIDIA, I was still trying to find an LA job. I was planning to quit it. I was like, I'm gonna get a job for 6 months to a year and quit it, but I just want to have something in LA to, you know, I was really concerned with stability and I didn't know about content creation as a solo thing. So I got a couple jobs. I got the job as director of marketing for TSM, turned it down. And I got a job at Disney in the marketing department. It was like their games division. I wish I could have recorded that interview because I think that was a masterclass. I think that was a masterclass, bro. I think that was a fucking fire interview. Listen, I also have a masterclass on what not to do, which is my interview at Riot for the Valorant marketing position, which I botched. I got to the final 2 and I told him I don't like shooters. Fucking instantly cut. I got to the final 2, dude. I was on site at lunch, casual lunch with the hiring manager, with the head of the department. We were vibing, having a good time. And I was like, yeah, dude, you know what? I don't even fuck with shooters. I don't even play them. Insane throw. But the Disney one, I learned my lesson, dude. I was Mr. Disney.